Welcome to another episode, everyone. Baby man from Rolling 100's Crip, accused of killing a cop's son, mistaking him for an individual from A. Trey Hoover. This individual is walking down the street and he has on a Houston Astros hat, typically worn by the Hoovers, apparently. And this individual pulled up thinking that because of this hat that he had on, that this individual was from Hoover, opened fire and took his life. This is Boys in the Hood TV. Check this out.
Welcome to Boys in the Hood TV. Today we're going to be discussing Baby Man from the Rolling 100 Crips and how he would shoot and kill a police officer's son who he mistook for A. Trey Hoover. Now Devin Davis, aka Baby Man, at the time was a 17-year-old active member of the 11 Trey Block Crips, and their hood is located on Normandy and Western Avenue. Now the 11 Trey Block Crips also are under the Rolling 100's Crip Alliance umbrella. Now they heavily beef with the Hoovers, the 8 Treys, the Mains, Inglewood families, NHPs, and other rival gangs. Now the 11 Treys, one of their main rivals are the Hoovers, which they had a very violent beef with, which has been going on for decades. Now this war between them and the Hoovers has resulted in many lives lost on both sides. And in the 2000s, this beef would take the life of an innocent teen. 18-year-old Brian Tonelli was the son of a well-known homicide detective named Wally Tonelli. Now Brian and his family stayed off St. Andrews Street, directly in the heart of the 8 Trey Gangster Crips neighborhood. Now, Bryant was not a gang member, but he loved wearing different baseball caps. One of his favorite baseball caps to wear was the Houston Astros cap. Now, this particular hat is worn by the Hoovers. Now, Bryant's best friend, named Joshua Henry, always warned Bryant about wearing his hat in certain areas. Now, because Bryant's family stayed in the 8 Trey's hood, him wearing his hat wasn't really a big issue because the 8 Treys and the Hoovers were known allies. But sadly, Brian had no idea that this choice would eventually cost him. On May 10th, 2007, Brian, along with his girlfriend, Ariel, had been hanging out in the neighborhood all day. Now later that day, Brian would link up with another homeboy named Walter Bridges. Not only miles away in downtown were a group of Rolling 100 Crips, which included Baby Man and No Brains, along with his girlfriend named Jessica. Now that day, Baby Man stated that he wanted to run into some Hoovers. So his big homie, No Brains, would tell his girlfriend Jessica to head over to Normandy so they can find some Hoovers. But eventually, the Rolling Hundreds put into the 8 Trey Gangster Crips hood, and Baby Man would slip on some black gloves, and in his waistband, he had a chrome 38. Now Brian Tonelli was walking up the block with his bike along with Walter walking down 80th Street when out of nowhere, Baby Man hopped out the...
And I'm sure that young man was scared and worried, 18 years old, but Baby Man, he's 17 years old at the time. Young brothers, young men out here, we have these gang wars going on, these beefs, and he is correct, the narrator, many people have died on both sides, and it's time to end all of these wars. Many innocent people have died as well in these foolish gang wars, and this is what we mean when we tell individuals from out of state to be careful about what you wear in certain neighborhoods in Los Angeles, California. And, you hear people saying, you can't tell me what to wear, that's foolish. The gang politics in LA is foolish, being identified with certain clothing and hats and all, but that's how it is. And when you have on certain clothing, people do think that you are from a certain neighborhood, or they can't assume that, and you may not even know what's going on. You have no idea about gangs and gang politics. You would think that you can wear whatever you want to wear, wherever you want to wear, and that is how it should be. Unfortunately, it is not that way. We can debate all day about how it should be, but let's talk about how it is. And how it is you have to be careful wearing these certain gang colors, gang affiliations, gang hats, or regular hats, regular colors, that's going to be mistaken for gang colors and some sort of gang hat. It's crazy, I know. Young 18-year-old man just walking down the street, just had on a hat, not a gang member from any damn where. His father's the police. It's not safe for anyone. These streets are not safe for anyone. Not in these black neighborhoods. Not if you're black. You're in danger of being killed by another black man.
Truck. Baby man would instantly yell out, 11 Trey, and then he opened fire. Both Brian and Walter took off running in the opposite direction. Baby man would let off 4 shots, and Brian would be struck in the back of the head, causing him to collapse in the grass. Immediately, baby man hopped back into the truck, and they fled the scene. Another teenager named Matthew Warren, who saw the entire shooting, came running up to check on Brian. He would then tell his grandfather to call 911 as he attempted to apply pressure to the back of Brian's wound. Now still fighting for his life, Brian Tonelli would tell Warren that he was tired and he just wanted to go to sleep. Eventually, Brian's girlfriend, Ariel, would come running out and she would see Brian laid on the ground. Eventually, the EMTs would arrive on scene and they would transport Brian to the hospital. And sadly, the very next day, Brian would be pronounced dead. Now afterwards, police would start their investigation. And they would first interview a man by the name of Vincent Jones. Now Vincent Jones would tell police that he saw Baby Man at the park not long after the shooting. He claimed that Baby Man seemed jumpy and nervous. And he would go on to state that Baby Man stated that he would likely be going to jail. Vincent would also ID Baby Man as an 11 Trey Crip. Also, he would ID him in a photo lineup. Now 4 days later, a highway patrolman would arrest No Brains along with his girlfriend Jessica after they would crash into a light pole. Now No Brains would be charged for violating his probation and also being held for a burglary charge. Now while in custody, police would interrogate No Brains' girlfriend Jessica, who would identify No Brains as one of the suspects in the Brian Tonelli murder. Now only a few...
Yeah, of course, never fails. We see it all of the time. No, nothing against the females, but they're going to be the first to tell. Even though some of these men are like females now, these days anyway, they're snitching, without compunction. They don't care. They're going to snitch on you. Why would you take her on a mission with you? Why you got her in the car with you, playing tough in front of these girls, in front of these women, getting your ass locked up for life? But whatever. I mean, you out here killing each other, killing all of these black men because he's wearing a freaking hat. It makes no sense, man. We have to do better. And I mean, we have to do better now.
Months later, they would arrest an ex-bounty hunter blood by the name of Leonardo Langley on gun possession charges. Now, police would run ballistics on this weapon, and it would be a match to the same gun used in the murder of Brian Tonelli. Now, Langley would go on to tell police officers that he purchased the gun from a Crip named No Brains for only $50. Police would then show Langley a photo, and Langley would ID No Brains in that photo lineup.
Yeah, he's snitching too, because the police said, hold on, you got a gun? Let's check this gun. Then the gun comes back with the murder on it, and the police say, okay, we about to charge you with this murder. Gun has a murder on it, we about to charge you with this murder. You must have did it. He starts singing like Beyonce, quickly. No, man, I got the gun from over here. I only paid $50. You should have known something was up with the gun and had a body on it or something if they're charging you $50 for the gun. That's why you have to be careful buying guns off the street. Don't do it. Because these guns, they're selling these guns oftentimes for a reason. They've done some dirty work with these guns, and your ass is in line to go to jail for the dirty work that they've done. There are many innocent people in jail for crimes that they did not commit. Believe that. He's snitching.
Eventually, police would arrest Baby Man in early 2008. Now, during the interrogation, he would break down telling Detective Skaggs that he was high on ecstasy and that he was afraid of his big homie, No Brains.
Oh.
He claimed that No Brains gave him the gun and that when he did do the shooting, his eyes was closed, so he didn't see exactly where he was shooting.
His eyes was closed. I closed my eyes and pulled the trigger. See, these young dudes are tough until they're not. They're tough until they really have to be tough. On the street with your homies, beating up on someone, that's not tough. on the street with your homie shooting someone, you're not tough. Anyone can pull a trigger, even a 12-year-old kid, 10-year-old, 9-year-old. They kill people all the time by accident. Find mama's, daddy's gun in the closet. It's not in the safety box. They grab the gun and shoot themselves, shoot other people. This happens all the time. You're not a killer. But now when the stuff hits the fan and you are arrested for murder, now you want to talk about you close your eyes and squeeze the trigger. Okay, you still shot him in the back of the head. And now he wants to blame his big homie Devil. Devil put me up to it. Or excuse me, No Brain. No Brains put me up to it. I felt like if I didn't do it, I'd be in trouble. Everybody snitching. The female snitch, the person who bought the gun snitch, this dude who pulled the trigger with his eyes closed, he's snitching. That's how it goes, man. You know, you're real tough. You just killed somebody. You just took a young man's life, 18 years old. Now you want to go in here and start crying and start snitching. Now you want to go in here and talk about he made me do it. Now you want to go in here and talk about I closed my eyes and squeeze the trigger. Open your eyes, killer.
Baby man would eventually start to get on Detective Skaggs' nerve, and he would ask the officers for something to drink.
Get on my nerve.
Detective Skaggs would respond, "Fuck you. You killed the cop's kid." Now, after this situation, the detectives would place Baby Man into a cell with No Brains with a recording device. Once in the cell, Baby Man would ask No Brains if his girlfriend Jessica had been talking to the police. Now, No Brains would go on to tell Baby Man it wouldn't even be a case if he didn't run his mouth. Now, once their trial took place, all the same witnesses that came forward before would testify to the jury about what they knew and what they saw the day of that shooting. Now, No Brains would testify himself, but he would state that he was out of town at the time of his murder. Now, by the end of the trial, Baby Man and No Brains would be found guilty of first-degree murder, would both be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. I would like to thank everybody for tapping in.
Life in prison without the possibility of parole. Everybody snitching. Shout out to Boys in the Hood TV. Good job as usual over there, brother. Let me know what you think in the comments. Baby Man cooked. Him and his big homie No Brain, whatever the hell, for life without parole, for shooting this kid in the back of the head. And everyone snitched. The girlfriend snitched. Baby Man reportedly, allegedly, is in the cell with a wire in the county jail with a wire on, trying to entice information, coax information out of his big homie who he was just saying that he was so afraid of and that made him do it. Yet you're not too afraid to go in the cell and wear a wire where you can lose your life if he discovers that you have a wire on you. They still put you up to that and you still went through with it and still got life without parole. That's what I'm saying about these snitches. You snitching, you still get life without parole. What was the point? You got the same amount of time he got. Y'all both got life without parole. There you have it, man. Be safe in LA. Be careful anywhere you go. But I don't know about the politics in these other states and the colors that you can and cannot wear. If you wear your hat to the back or if you wear it frontwards, that represents something. I can only speak to the California politics and the California gang politics, the California gang culture. And I can assure you that you want to be careful with what you wear in any and every neighborhood that you may go into. Know where you're at and know who their opposition is. And it's unfortunate that you have to do all of this just to walk down the street in a black neighborhood amongst your own people. But it's something that we're working on, and we need to ramp it up. We need to work on this. All of the OGs need to be working on this situation because black men are continuing to lose their lives on a daily basis. And we need to stop it and stop it now. Be careful and be safe. That's it, everyone. You see what happened? The man is just walking down the street, just happened to have on a hat. I can't even say he had on the wrong hat. What's the wrong hat? You should better wear whatever hat you want to wear. If it was a red hat, you better wear that. He's just walking down the street with a hat on and is mistaken for a gang member. Apparently, they didn't ask him any questions. Hey, man, where you from? Man, I don't bang. Give him a chance. Like, man, I don't bang. I ain't got no tattoos, whatever. I don't bang. I'm just wearing this hat. They didn't give him a chance. They just pulled up and started dumping. He running like, damn, what is this? And get hit. Damn, man. Crazy, man. Rest in peace to that young brother, man. Stay safe and stay free, people.